What's good, King Martin? How you doing, brother?
What up? What up? What up? We in the building. We in the building, man. We got a hot one today, baby. So I had to put on the hat for a little bit of shade, though. Ain't no sunlight up in here, so stop hating. I know that's what y'all haters about to say, but I'm excited about today's topic, bro. I'm
You
excited.
might
What's up with you? You over there looking all suave and decked out. You know what I'm saying? All extra tapered up. You know what I mean?
Hey, I'm trying. I'm trying to keep it clean, man. Do you you need to share this out, man? You got to share this out on your page?
I did share. I think so.
Oh, you got it out already? Okay.
Yeah, I reposted.
All right, cool. Yeah, no, man, feeling good, man. Like I said, just trying to set the tone, for what I want in life, man, and that's how I roll, man. How about you, man?
I love it, man. I'm excited. So we're actually having the look in the mirror, turning it into a corporation, getting the LLC paperwork done. So that way everything is official now. You know what I mean? Not only that, I entered the film into Sundance, Tribeca, and all these other film festivals. So I'm excited about that. God is just really opening up doors. School started back, so back to the school grind. Just grateful for another day. You know what I mean? So if you're complaining about 2020, if you're complaining about COVID, I really think you might just be missing out on the blessing that you have to be able to work on yourself. What about you, Quay? Talk to me.
Well, man, you brought up a good point, man. I don't think people really see the blessing in COVID, man. Like I said, COVID has slowed a lot of things down. It's removed a lot of distractions. For a lot of people, it's allowed them to save money. It's allowed them to focus on their real craft, not just a job, but focus on building businesses and building generational wealth for the family. It's allowed people to spend more time with their families, and check on their loved ones. And it's allowed people to spend a lot more time with, with each other and with their direct families. So, man, I don't think people understand or see or really value the benefit and the blessing that is COVID-19, man.
I look at it like before COVID happened, majority of people were working on someone else's dream.
Right.
I don't know if y'all really understood that dime or that gem that I just dropped right there, or that bomb, but that was a nuclear bomb right there.
Drop it again. Drop it again. They missed it, man. Drop it again.
I think before COVID-19 happened, majority of people were working on someone else's dream. What I mean by that is you were going to a job that was not yours, that you didn't own in anything else in that perspective, instead of working on your own dream to create your own entrepreneurship, to create your own job and your own values for yourself. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with working for someone else, but while you're working that situation, you should also be working on a situation to create your own so you can have your
own. Right. Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Yeah, let's say at the end of the day, you got to be in the mindset of leveraging your job to build your dream and the dream for your family's continuation or your generational wealth. That's the mindset. Let's say don't go to the job and that be the end all be all. You leverage the job to fund your dream so that you can basically go off and do your own thing and let that job go. That's the goal of a job.
So Quay, since we kind of dipped into that or whatever else, tell the people what you do.
So what? So let's say my daily grind. Let's say I deal in information technology, right? But my nightly grind is Forex and stock trading. Like I said, just focusing on the other streams of income that can be achieved or that can be leveraged. Like I said, a lot of folks don't know about these other areas of investment or these other areas of transactions. And like I said, I spend a lot of time studying and learning that. Because like I said, it opens up additional streams. Like I said, once again, you can't just depend on a job to fund your life. Like I said, the job has an expiration date. So you have to create additional streams of income, if it be a business, if it be real estate, if it be investments, if it be trading, which let's say trading is very lucrative. Let's say when you know what you're doing, very lucrative.
I don't want to steal your thunder. Could you repeat that about the job one more time for the congregation?
Well, let's say the job has an expiration date. So you don't want to base your life around a job. Let's say the goal is to use the job, leverage the job for the financial piece of it. And then you take that finance piece along with your energy and build your own dream and see your own dream to fruition. That's supposed to be the goal. I said, no, time is out for this. Work this job for 30 years and get a pension. That's over. So you got to leverage the job now and use it for what it can be leveraged for. to build your own thing so that you can sustain that long term. That's the goal.
Okay.
But let me jump real quick, Los. Let me get these sponsors, show these sponsors some love real quick before we get into this hot topic we got tonight.
Oh yeah.
Let me see if I can get this up on the screen real quick.
So while he's getting that up on the screen, right? Today's topic is, are Black people stupid? And this is one of our sponsors right here.
Yeah, we gonna get into it, but it's one of our sponsors of War on Friendly Grounds. The website is a war on friendly grounds.com. So definitely go check out the book. This is our own Carlos Martin, King Martin, as we like to call him. This is his book. This is his production. So definitely go support. 5-star rated on Amazon. So definitely go support it. Once again, a war on friendlygrounds.com. You can purchase it on Amazon. Great book, great story, great keys in the story. So definitely go check that out. A war on friendlygrounds.com. And then also we have Two Sons Juice Co. So this is a Metro Detroit based cold pressed juice company, all natural, no preservatives, no water added, no tricks, no gimmicks, no chemicals. Everything is basic, simple in a bottle. That's it. So definitely go check that out. twosonsjuiceco.com. That's the number 2 sons, SONS juice, JUICE co.com. twosonsjuice.com.
Black owned business. Make sure you support that. It's amazing. You've never had something so natural in a bottle that just tasted amazing, bro.
For sure, for sure. Let's say this. Everything can be pronounced. It's nothing but organic fruit. That's all you get. So all right, Los, let's
what's today's topic, Quay?
Man.
Tell me what today's topic is.
So like I said, today's topic, and I said I've already seen some responses and things of that nature already, but today's topic is, are Black people stupid?
Are Black people stupid?
Gotta let that sink in.
Exactly. We're gonna let that marinate for a second, because here's the beautiful thing about it. I know you have 2 Black hosts on this show hosting it, asking this question. But the reason why this question came about is because of the police brutality or scenarios that Black people find themselves in. And that is one of the most basic common things that Americans say. Well, if they wasn't doing something stupid, it wouldn't have happened to them.
Right.
And that's what the topic is about today. Are Black people stupid? Are they out here just doing stupid and reckless things in the world? So we want to dive into that and get your opinion. Are just Black people just dumb and just don't know no better? Quay,
right.
Are Black people stupid?
You know what, man? So I'm I know this topic, as I said, I know this topic is hitting some nerves, man, for some of our supporters of the show. Let me say this: Black people are not stupid by far. We're not stupid at all, right? In response to that statement, though, I will say I feel like some of our people are insane. And what I mean,
hold on, hit the hot button. Look out!
what I mean by that is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. And my people do that a lot.
What you mean by that? We need details. If you were in the kitchen cooking, we need all the ingredients.
Well, you know what? Since you said cooking in the kitchen, that's one of them things, right? So I'll use that as an easy example.
Okay.
So we all got the stories of grandma getting her cooking on and you know, cooking up those recipes, and she was doing a dash of this, a pinch of this, or this or that, and the third, right?
Okay.
But then you lose grandma. Yeah. But then you lose grandma, and if somebody didn't pick up the recipe or pick up the process, it's gone. So like no one sits down to record what grandma was doing.
Let me tell you this: they record now, though. Everything being recorded now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, man. And like I said, that's not a knock, but I mean, that's just, once again, it's something that we got to change. Like, it's something that we grew up around, but we never change it, right?
Okay. We had a little technical difficulties, so I'm gonna take over while my co-host Kwesi is gone. I think what he was trying to touch on about black people being stupid and doing the same thing over and over again is to, are we ever, when has it ever been good for black people in America? Are we stupid for thinking that we'll ever have equality? Are we stupid for thinking that the Constitution really benefits us? Now I know that was a loaded question, right? Because I've been arguing about this Constitution thing, right? And I said I believe the Constitution should be ripped up and it should be rewritten by our leaders of every single different color. And the reason why I said that was because it creates a mental balance, right? Because if one person originated the Constitution, then they wrote it in their favor. So if white folks wrote the Constitution, then everything in the Constitution more than likely is going to be benefit white people, right? Then they said, well, you can make amendments, but that still doesn't have anything to do with the mindset or the complex about the Constitution. Because if I'm the originator of something, then I'm going to be the superior one in the scenario. But if you have a balance, or if you have every color of the rainbow in that scenario writing that, then one color can't think they're better than the next because we created this together. I mean, I just want to know y'all thoughts about that, because I feel like this, right? Because the Constitution was written the way it was written, by who it was written, this is why things are continuously allowed to happen. Not saying we're not protected by certain laws. I'm not saying the Constitution doesn't give us the right to protest or, different things or whatever else, right? But what I am saying is because we were not in the initial room when the Constitution was initially written, and it was not initially written for us, I don't feel fully protected like I should. And that's why you have people go to court for the same crime and get different times. That's why you have different scenarios where we see, are black people stupid when they get pulled over by police officers compared, or minorities, let's just say minorities, right? Compared to our white counterparts. So it's happening to people who look like me. Then we see videos of people who don't look like the minority that are white that get away with so many different things and live to tell about it. They could say a black person is reaching for a piece of paper, it's a gun, it's a weapon, it's a this or it's a that. But we also see the white people who say, I'm not getting out my truck, I'm not doing this, fuck you, pig, all different type of ridiculous statements that go without being shot, without being murdered. I mean, just a couple of days ago, a white guy refused to get out the car, got tased, all these different things happen, and then wind up taking the police's gun and shot 2 police officers. It's crazy.
Right.
You got the Kenosha situation. If that young man was black and he was running down the street with the AR-15, would he have lived to tell about it? So are black people stupid? Are black people really putting themselves in different situations? Or is the evaluation of the situation stupid itself? Because if black people are really stupid, how was America built? If black people are really stupid, why is it that no war has been won without black people? If black people are so stupid, why is black people continuously oppressed? If black people are so stupid, why would you go out your way to create systemic racism, Jim Crow laws, the black codes, blow up Black Wall Street, Rosewood, and all these different scenarios to continuously oppress black people if they're stupid? I think we had a comment. Catch that comment one time, brother?
Yeah, so we had a comment from Chloe Price. She said she get that, but it's not like they're honoring the Constitution anyway.
Which is my point. The Constitution is being honored. And it's being honored for people who don't look like us.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's a difference. I do think we have the right to protest. You know what I mean? And people go out, we go protest, and all these things happen in the midst of the protest. But when you have a superiority complex, then we can hijack the protest. Then we can put police out there, bricks out there, burning cars out there, have moles out there and agents out there that go out there to incite the riots, to incite the incidents, to create the anarchy that we want. So that way we can change the narrative and say, look at what those people are doing. They're stupid. Are they really stupid for standing up for their rights? for wanting equality, for wanting peace, to wanting to be accepted, is that really stupid? Here's the thing. Y'all just got done talking about Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs and them just played a game, and they didn't take a knee. It wasn't during the national anthem. And the young man said, hey, we're doing this for equality. And they were booed. They were booed. Equality was booed. Were those players stupid for locking arms for equality? Is that stupid? And then someone will say, hey, King, well, they shouldn't have did it on the NFL platform. But yet not one person has been able to say what platform it should be done on and how it would be effective.
Facts.
Go ahead, Quay.
Yeah, no, man. It just, I mean, I think, like I said, this is the reason why I feel like this is a good topic, is because we have to start looking at things differently. If you want to label that as stupidity, which is not really stupidity, it's just a lack of knowledge. We have to start looking at things differently, and we have to change our mindsets on how we view things. Like I said, I don't call any of us stupid, but like I said, I do think we do some insane things, and like I said, we expect different results, but yet we do the same thing over and over and over. And like I said, we got multiple examples. These corporate jobs, some of the, I mean, to be honest, some of these protests. I mean, we go out, we'll protest, right? And like I said, I understand exactly what you mean, and I understand what the players are doing and what the teams are doing as well. But it doesn't always yield a tangible change, right? So at some point, you got to look at your actions and say, okay, is this insanity? Like, am I just doing the same thing that my my elders was doing 20 years ago, and we still not getting anywhere? Or do I need to change up my methods and move differently? You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. And like I said, that's once again, that's
small victories like Minnesota, and they defunded the police in different areas. You know what I'm saying? They've created smaller laws on a smaller level. You know what I mean? There's been minute changes. So I won't say that it hasn't had any effect, but we need bigger impact. So I think what you might be saying is that might not be the only thing that we need to do, is repeat history in the same type of way and come up with different, more creative things to get better, different outcomes. Would I be correct in that?
No, somewhat. So to sum up what I'm saying, let's say this is why I tie it back to insanity. It's not stupidity, it's insanity.
Okay.
We have to understand, and we got to let this sink in, right? The system that we live in today was created and built on white supremacy.
Facts.
Like I need everybody that's on this live, all the viewers. I see we got a decent amount of viewers on here right now. I need everybody to hear what I just said and let it sink in. It ain't no conspiracy. I ain't no theorist, so don't even try it.
Here's another special note. We're not sitting here making it seem like there aren't any white people that are not fighting for equality.
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
White people that have stood up for the right reasons to create the change, that has used their platform that said, hey, this is wrong, this isn't right. And they were willing to come out their bubble. Now, this has happened over generation, because if you go back to when slavery days, that's why I got this good old hat on, sir. You know, white folks were called nigger lovers, and they got treated as such. So throughout history of America's history, this has happened. So black people ain't never freed black people. It took the whole rainbow, and it took white people to help that happen. Even with the Underground Railroad, Harriet Tubman do it by herself. She had white people who hid black people in their homes and opened up their homes to help black people get to freedom. So we don't want to make it seem like it's just a one-sided conversation, as if there aren't white people out there not doing the right things. But we're just talking about ones that are in positions of power. We're talking about the ones that have a scarcity mentality. We're talking about the rule makers, the politicians, and the lawmakers, and everything else. The judicial system, the Constitution, the laws that we live by, the law enforcement, the judges. We're talking about those different type of scales of people put in a position that can make a difference or dictate in your life.
Yeah, no, that's facts. But let me hear. We got a guest joining in. Let me let this guest in real quick.
Oh, welcome.
Hey,
that
family.
Chloe Price? What's going on, Chloe Price?
Price, welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm just stopping by. I'm just gonna stop by. I ain't gonna
Okay.
stay.
You must want to get something off your chest. What's
I'm
going
not
on?
gonna stop by. I'm just gonna stay. I'm not gonna stay. I'm just gonna stop by. But no, I wanted to ask. Actually, I wanted to ask Keeg a question.
Okay. Yes. Sir.
Okay.
Eyes here right now. Eyes here.
Yeah. Oh, you here? All right. I like that hat.
Oh yeah.
Who you channeling?
Huh?
Who you channeling with that hat?
My ancestors.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Tree.
Okay. Okay. So my question to you is, I get what you're saying about well, there's a few, but my first thing was what made me kind of want to come on is because I kind of want to be the voice for people who feel like this this particular conversation is for me and exclusive to our community. Because, and I say that because why can't we have a conversation around the things that directly affect us, that are said about us? Because this whole "are black people stupid," um "are black people lazy," "black people are," this is one of those stereotypical comments that
Facts.
people say, and the people that are saying that are not people who look like us. These are other nationalities and races, if you will, that are making these comments about us being lazy and not wanting to work and being stupid and being
Right.
uneducated, which are all stereotypes and completely untrue. We didn't
Right.
become lazy until we stopped wanting to work for free, and then we became lazy. We
Correct.
weren't
Facts.
we weren't lazy when we were building the country, but suddenly when we decided we wanted to get paid like everybody else for our labor, then we
Facts.
became lazy, right? And then
Very true.
and I'm going off my original point, but my
No, no,
original
you're fine. Go
point
ahead. Take your
was,
time.
obviously there are people from other nationalities or races that stand in support and solidarity with our
Okay.
cause because they know it's wrong. I mean, this is a human rights issue, and there are good humans. Um, see, that's true.
Right. Comment. The
But
comment got me
there's
on
there,
guard.
there's good humans that are just
Yeah.
like, this is wrong.
Okay.
But at the same time, um, you know, we know that there is a large majority who they agree with these comments. They're making these comments at home,
Yes.
discussions at the dinner table with their family, with their friends. These are the
Mhm.
things that they're saying, and I think it's okay for us to say, you know, we're generalizing. We're not speaking for every person. We're not speaking for
Right.
every nationality.
I
We're
just
not
needed to make that
speaking.
clear because you got the trolls that are trying to manipulate what we said, take sound bites to make it mean something that we're not talking about. So I just wanted to CYA, to make sure we cover our ass. That's all.
No, I appreciate you. I know. I mean, I know why you're saying it, but
Yeah.
at the same time, unfortunately, I feel like you're saying it for a completely different reason. Although, unfortunately, this is the bait and switch that happens when we start to have these conversations. It's just like the whole Black Lives Matter but all lives matter thing.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
you can be having a conversation like this, and I'm not speaking about you, but you could be having this conversation in a group of people, and as soon as you start saying, oh, Black Lives Matter, not
They
associated
changed the
with
narrative. They
the
changed the narrative.
group. Yeah, but that, oh, well, all lives matter. Of course all lives matter. That's not
Yeah.
what we're talking about. So when we say, where did this narrative come from about are black people stupid, and why this is an important conversation, is because where did this come from? Like, a lot of the things that um we come in agreement with, let me say, a lot of things we come in agreement with as a community were all narratives that were given to us.
Mm.
They're all things, deceptions that were fed to us. So are black people stupid? No, but we are deceived, and we have been deceived for a very long time. And then when you try to slowly inform people and wake people up, that's where the insanity comes in, right? Because we become so comfortable. We become so comfortable, with the status quo. They throw us a bone, like you were saying in Minnesota, they change a law, or
They
like
give it. They give us the little crumbs. They give us
yeah,
crumbs
and
from
we just
the
take
table.
it and we go, oh,
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
progress. And
yeah.
we're so excited about it. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't take every win we can, but at the same time, we need to have perspective, because it's not about, like, Kwesi said, it's not about being stupid, but it is about being, it's insanity.
Mhm.
Like, we
It's some
shouldn't,
sort of flavor.
we are worth more than that. And it does.
Hmm.
It is that slave mentality, because it's
Yeah.
and they've been able
Slavery
to, even though
PTSD.
we're no longer technically slaves, right? But it's
Never.
mental.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, we have Willie Lynch to thank for that.
Willie Lynch. We have the Black Codes. We have the Jim Crow law. I mean, a lot of things were put in place. We've been a study case for a long time,
Mhm.
and a lot of people don't understand the fact that they're being studied, the marketing and how they feed things. You know what I mean? And so here's the thing: if you continuously say Black people are stupid, right? Eventually, if enough people say it, it becomes a reality, right? Let's check a couple of comments because we want to catch them too. I don't want to go too long, but let's catch a couple of comments and I'm gonna come back to that point.
Yeah, and I've been posting the comments up, man. But the last one here, from Demarcus Finley, I think our self-confidence to be self-sustainable is very low as a culture. And Demarcus, you're absolutely right about that. I said I wanna go back to that point I was gonna make. Like I said, so people once again can go down the road of understanding what we're dealing with, right?
Mhm.
So once again, I'm gonna start with this statement. We have to understand that the system that we reside in was created and based on white supremacy. And that's just a fact. And I know people try to fight that, and then they try to look past it and look around and act like it don't exist, but it does. And once you understand that, then you will also understand why we get some of the results that we get. Listen, I'm gonna go through all the processes. We can start with voting. When we get out here and we go run the vote, we go put that work in, vote or die, we go hard, and then it don't turn out like we thought it was supposed to turn out. Like I said, there's a component behind that. You know what I'm saying? When we get into these jobs and we putting in this work and we working hard and grinding and all of this, what they say, burn the midnight oil and all of this stuff, and then we don't never get that promotion. Some other guy who's half as qualified as you gets that spot, but he looks different. We got to understand that there's a component behind that. So
Right.
go ahead,
And,
Los.
and this is probably something that all of us have heard, right? Because it's conditioning. And have you ever heard go to school, get good grades, go to college, and go work for someone?
Mhm.
Right.
It's a conditioning because there's two different types of colleges. There's colleges that teach you how to work on a plantation, and there's colleges that teach you how to run a plantation. I think we might have having a little bit of technical difficulties. You guys hear that? We apologize. I'm gonna say that one more time. There's different type of colleges. There's colleges that teach you how to run a plantation, and a plantation is a business. And there's colleges that teach you how to work for one. And you might say, well, why do you say it's a business and plantation is the same thing? Because of the structure. Slave owner, master. In business, worker bee, manager, CEO. The structure is the same. The benefits might be tweaked and the benefits might be a little bit different. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure the CEO don't know half of what you know about the job at all. And I don't have to. You know why? Because I created it and you work for me. Which goes into the goddess Lahadi. And her name is Myrna Witt. And she's just so amazing. She says, you know what? You a hoe and you don't even know it. I said, oh, what do you mean? She says, what does a hoe do? She gets dressed up. She looks nice. She stands on the corner. People go by. Eventually, someone wants to buy the product. And at the end of the day, the pimp comes by and says, hey, hoe, how much money did you make me? Oh, if you don't make enough money for me, you got to go, right? Well, in business, we get dressed up. We wear the ties. We follow the rules. We smile. We regurgitate the little things that they tell us to say. We sell the product. People come by. And at the end of the day, the manager comes by and says, well, how much product did you sell today, Mr. Price? Well, according to our statistics, you should have been able to sell this amount. Were you at the desk the whole time? Did you smile like you were supposed to? Did you read our statements the way we taught you to read the statements? Because it doesn't make sense for you not to be able to produce this. And if you can't produce this number, you're going to be fired and we'll replace you. Well, what's the difference between the hoe and the salesman? The product. That's it.
Facts,
But
facts.
the structure of all of this is the same. So we got a lot of people out here who are hoes that don't even know they're hoe. You know, hoe of the month, hoe of the year. You know what I'm saying? I hate to put it that way. I'm not trying to be slight, but I sometimes you have to use shock value or say things in a different type of manner for it to click for someone to say, wow. Because it's amazing how we can get up, follow these rules, be disciplined, and do everything else for someone else's dream. But when it comes to your own entrepreneurship, you're lazy.
Facts. But let's say once again, that's back to that mindset, man. And that's
Yeah.
why I say we gotta. It's not a matter of stupidity or being stupid. Like I said, we're far from it. Like I said, we're actually very intelligent. But the point that Chloe brought up earlier is a lot of times we're being deceived.
Yeah.
And we play into these things because, you know, like you said earlier, we get some crumbs or we get some couple little law tweaks, you know, at the local municipality. And we think that's success or that's progress, but it's really not. Let's say, because that's all the trickery of it. That just keeps us baited. Let me hit a couple of these comments because I think this comment is going to touch on a piece of this. Let's see. DeMarcus Finley said, the white man has tricked us into playing a bait game. So as long as we feel like we're getting something back on any level, we feel like there's a reason to justify it. And DeMarcus Finley, that is all facts, man. That is
Join
all
the panel. Join the panel.
All facts. And Marcus, I said, if you want to get on the panel, man, throw that link in the browser and join us. But that's
Marcus be dropping gems,
that right there. That's the nugget right there.
DeMarcus be dropping gems. Come on up here, man. DeMarcus, we would love. Look, man, we're not saying we the experts on nothing. This is all of us talking as a family, just having a conversation, and that's why we titled that. So join us. You know what I mean? Because here's my thing. The reason why we could talk about this conversation is when black people get pulled over, sometimes other people, well, if he wasn't acting stupid, he wouldn't have got shot. Well, if he would have complied, he wouldn't have got shot. Well, it's so many different justifications, but an officer's job is not to shoot people. An officer's job is to protect and serve. But when your base comes from slave patrol, which is bounty hunter for black people, then of course it's going to be a difference when you stop a black person versus a white counterpart. It is what it is. Because if Dylan Roof can commit murder and do a mass murder at a church and be taken to Burger King, but a person who's reaching for his brush or someone else like Philando Castile gets shot right there in front of his family like it's nothing, there's a problem with that. There's a difference. There's a difference.
Facts. Yeah, no, man. We, like I said, at the end of the day, we're dealing with a lot of narratives, and we have to understand what we are in or what is going on around us or how this thing is structured. I mean, let me give you another example, man, of education. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of, you know, a lot of black kids in the educational system, in the K through 12 educational system, man. And as parents, we see the flaws in the education system. I mean, you still got schools, you know, trying to convince folks that, oh, we got another, hold on a second, we got another.
Yes, bring the guest in.
Let me see who we got.
The educational system, because that's so true. Welcome, welcome. First, what we'd like you to do is introduce yourself. Tell us what you do. If you got any websites, market yourself, and then join in and drop the dime. You know what I mean?
Hello, my name is Ruben, and I'm actually met King a while, like last week, and he told me about the show. This is the first time I ever done this. The conversation you guys are having is just, wow, it feels so homey. I'm like, I have to join this. And
well, welcome, Ruben. What do you do, Mr. Ruben?
I do investigations, so I investigate for attorneys and stuff. A lot of different legal aspects and such. Okay. I heard what you said about working for somebody. I couldn't agree with you more. That's the thing. The working for somebody, that's your training. You're getting paid to train, and you're picking up a trade that you could apply in. And we live in America, where I believe that we have the tools to make it that way. You mentioned about the Constitution. You feel that we should tear it up. And a lot of people do feel that way because of the situation they're being put in. And it's like, well, you're leaving us no choice. Let's create something different.
Right.
But at the same time, the way I see it, the Constitution is there, and that is for everyone. But there's certain people that are keeping others from using it and achieving that American dream. They're keeping us away from that. And that's how I see it. And all the points you guys made earlier about how you mentioned redlining, I heard, and stuff, everything is all true. Jim Crow laws, everything was put in place to keep the black people down and want them to advance. And that's why they create these ghettos, I call them, so they could keep the people there, but they don't provide them good education. They want them to be on the welfare system. It's like, oh, we're not going to tell you about the American dream because that does not going to be benefiting us at all. We need to keep you like this. We could hold power, and that's what I see.
Okay.
So Ruben, let me ask you a question, man.
Yeah.
So I keep hearing you make this statement. So I'm always curious when I hear this. So what's your definition of the American dream?
The American dream for me is the American dream is that you have peace with yourself, that you have a place to live, but more importantly, that when you go to the store and you're going to buy food, you don't have to think about how much that food is going to cost you. Once you get to that level, everything else, I think it doesn't matter. You could buy your new car, $50,000 car, $60,000. It's only going to last you for a month or so, and then it goes away. I've been through it. I was like, yeah, you know what? You learn, but all that just brings stress to your life. And a lot of people think that's the American dream. It's about getting stuff and everything, but then that comes with a lot of stress. You lose some family time and everything, and that's not the American dream. So that's my.
I would like to debate with you just a little bit about the Constitution, Mr. Rubin. And my debate is there are amendments in the Constitution that's supposed to benefit Black people, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But if it was written for everyone in the beginning, you wouldn't have amendments, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So we only have amendments because we left you out of the equation, and it was never meant for you. That's why we have amendments. So if I started this club, right, and I made all the rules of the club, and I make a couple of changes for you, the rest of the rules for the club still benefit me, and you're still kind of getting table scraps. And that's what we're saying about when we do all these marches and these protests that, oh, we'll let them paint Black Lives Matter on the street. We'll let them paint it on the buildings. We'll let them wear it on their jerseys. Yeah, we'll let them play basketball and all these different type of things, right? But if there are no laws being changed, what did all of that mean? If the killings are still happening, which we see, what did the painting on the street mean? So the reason why I only said to tear it up and start over and have someone collectively and have the whole rainbow created together, it gets rid of the superiority complex behind it. Now I can't say, well, you know what? I started this live streaming. We're gonna play by my rules, and this is my show. It's none of that, because if all four of us did it together, now we started this. We did this collectively, and so now one person or one race can't have the mindset of I, superior, ruler, creator, and I will dictate what I want to amend to you when I want to amend to you. And I feel that's why it should be, redone. I do believe we should have a constitution. I just think it should be redone by leaders from every single race. That way it benefits everyone. So that way, hey, if I'm white and you're Black and we both do the same crime, we both get the same punishment. But because I have the Constitution in my hand, I can punish you 3 to 5 times more than the regular punishment. You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
I personally find it crazy that marijuana is $1 billion business, right? You know why? Because they were the biggest gangsters ever. They cleaned up the streets, locked everybody up for marijuana charges, and then said, we're going to take over this industry and legalize it and make money off of it. But yet they freed no one for doing the same thing.
Nope, I totally understand. And I totally understand the whole collective of everyone, because the action itself, you're saying, so if everybody of every race chimes in, then the action itself, it's equal because everybody chimed in.
We can find more balance. Nothing's perfect, but it can be more balanced.
Yeah, correct. But no, yeah, that's true. If we were to tear it up, yeah. that'll be the thing. But my idea is just I want to preserve it because I see what's the good in it. And you mentioned that there wasn't equality in it, so the amendments were added. Like what specific amendments are you talking about that there were?
I mean, like, well, the civil rights movement was never originally there.
Mm-hmm.
So when we wound up doing the civil rights movement, it was for Black people to have more rights. So those amendments for Black people to have more rights had helped. Well, were certain amendments that happened in the Constitution. You know what I mean? To allow us to, the rights that we have now. Because before the civil rights marching and all the other different things, that didn't apply to us.
Yeah.
You got to remember that things were segregated. You got to remember that we were on plantations. You got to remember that a Black person could be where they called it free land and be taken from free land and be captured and been brought back into slavery. That's why you can have white folks who say, well, this is my country. You know why they feel that way? Because they were the ones who made the rules. So when you're the rule maker, you can say my, me. But if everyone does it, then there's a balance. Ms. Thornton talked about the 13th Amendment. We could talk about the war on drugs. You know what I mean? When you talked about those ghettos, they flooded the ghettos or the hoods with crack and cocaine purposely to lock it up, right? And so what they did was they locked Black people up, right? But then with white people, because you can say, well, Black people stupid for doing the drugs, right? They should have never did it. They had a choice. But when white folks and white neighborhoods were flooded with opioids, they got counseling. They just need help. They just need someone to talk to. Well, guess what? After 500 years of slavery, we still haven't had someone to talk to about slavery PTSD and the things that we went through. Black women, oh my God, that's a show in itself about the things that Black women have been through. You know what I mean? And how they've been culturally appropriated. The fabric and the fibers of America is off of Black people. It's off of Black culture. Yeah. I hate to say it that way, but facts are just facts.
And there are facts. I couldn't disagree with you. I agree with you 100% with everything that you're saying. And the way I see it, that's why that Constitution was there to protect everybody. But I still go back, like the Constitution sits, and we could add, nothing is ever perfect. So, but we can make it perfect. But it just feels like there's just certain people in government for years and years, they just don't want to do it. They just want to block it. We're not moving with it.
Because I created it. Why would I allow you to change what? Could I come in your home and tell you what to do in your house?
No.
Exactly. You know why? Because it's your house, right? Yep. Why would I let you change my Constitution? It's my Constitution. I might make a couple of adjustments, but you're not going to come in my house and tell me what to do in my house. I'm not going to let it. Look, what's not going to happen is, Mr. Rubin, I come in your house and say, you know what? I want equal rights in your house.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to treat me fairly. You're going to give me equal rights. I can go in the refrigerator and eat out your refrigerator. I can use your bathroom, your products, and everything. Because you know why? Because it's yours.
Yeah.
And that's why I said the complex about who originated the Constitution and how they can be empowered, because they are the ones who created it. Mm-hmm. And that's why I gave you the house example. You're not going to let me tell you what to do in your house. You might try to, if I came over as a visitor, you might clean up the house. You might try to make it a little more comfortable for me to be in your home, but you're not going to change your whole home around just for me, because it's your home. So I might make a little bit of amendments for the Constitution, but yeah, I'm going to still make sure that the Constitution benefits me because I wrote it for you. I didn't write it for you.
Let me get this comment, Los. We got another comment from DeMarcus Finley. He says, other cultures, different nationalities and places around the world, they constantly see us selling ourselves and our children for profit and to brands. If you constantly see someone disrespecting themselves, you're not going to respect them. So no one's going to put or hold value to anything dealing with or involving our people until we put value back within ourselves. So let me throw this out here. So I know the topic of the show is, are Black people stupid? Let me flip it around. I mean, what's the chances that people are calling Black people stupid because we think we're gonna change this system that they got in place?
Can I speak to that? Can I speak to that?
Ma'am.
Because it's almost like you read my mind. It's almost like you read my mind. That is, if we, let me unpack that, because I was gonna say while you were speaking, Carlos, is the idea that of you proposing that we have this almost we the people constitution, which which it should be, it sounds great. In theory, it sounds wonderful. That would fix so many issues. But this is where I have to tap into what Kwesi is saying. They don't want to fix these issues. So maybe the reason why they are saying Black people are so stupid is because they know what they've done to us. They know that, I mean, like you know, sis said, like sis
Miss Thornton.
I think
Miss Thornton.
yeah, like Miss Thornton said. When she said that we're 3/5 of a person in the Constitution, we're still 3/5 of a person. Like we're still, they have all of the amendments and the changes they've made, civil rights and all of that. They still have not changed that. They still have not changed that. And until they change that, they're still devaluing us, as DeMarcus said, and we're accepting it. But the truth of the matter is, it's insanity. Did they?
I think I would let me do my research before you quote me on that. But
okay, yeah, that's okay. Because I don't want to be quoted either. If I'm wrong.
Doesn't mean that I'm still not going to treat you in that same manner.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Let's welcome
I'm sorry.
Let's welcome the guest.
Let me get the guest in, and then we can go back to it. Chloe, Isaiah, how you doing, man?
Hey, peace, brothers. How you doing, madam?
Hi.
How you
doing well. Welcome to the show, brother. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. My apologies. Let me preface. Let me. I should probably start off with a disclaimer that I am putting the kids to bed right now and finishing up homework and doing the dishes. So if I jump off, I'll come back on when I can. But I have to be sensitive to the needs of the family first.
Yes, sir. Isaiah's a good friend of mine. Yeah. I've known Isaiah since high school. Talented brother. Oh my God, ridiculous. Isaiah, do you want to run down your credits, or do you want me to run it down just a little bit? Just tell the people about you, man. This dude is doing so many amazing things.
I hate that so much. I do. I hate it. Don't run down nothing. I'm just a brother out here trying to connect with my people. I really do. I hate the disclaimer. Only because the only reason why I hate it, I don't hate it like, I'm not saying like I dislike people who do it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that like I think it's a problem in the entertainment industry specifically. I think it's a problem that we so much qualify somebody's value based on what they have done or accomplished or are doing.
Agreed.
I think that because of that, they create this very exclusive community that is that says, it's basically a reflection of America. We don't realize that we do the same thing in their systems, operating in their systems. We adapt, we assimilate to their behavior, we assimilate to their ideologies, and we don't even realize that we do that while closing out.
Am I the only
rest
one with
of the
no
world.
sound with them?
Huh?
Oh, you can't hear Isaiah?
Oh. Okay,
Ruben says he can't hear Isaiah right now. Kwesi, is there something that he could possibly do?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, Isaiah's coming through loud and clear over here, man. I don't see any issues.
Okay.
Is he just low? Is he just low, Ruben, or you can't?
No,
Hold on, low.
I'm moving and everything's just no audio from him. But I can see you guys engaging with him. I just don't hear him.
Weird. That's so weird.
Ruben,
hold on, Isaiah. Let me try something real quick. Hold on. Let me just see.
It's a matrix shit right there.
For the technical difficulties. I know y'all don't like the wait or whatever else like that, but we apologize.
Go ahead. Say something for us, Isaiah.
Peace. Testing,
Ruben.
1, 2.
Ruben, can you hear him?
I think he just stepped away.
Oh, Brett,
okay.
He can hear me.
All right. All right. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I don't know. I think I said my piece.
No, that was. Hey, you know what though? That was very eloquently put. I appreciate that, bro. And it's factual.
It's true. It's true. I think we create exclusivity amongst ourselves by assimilating to the behavior and the methods of other people. And I think that along the lines of what you guys were talking about, my sister was talking about that they still haven't changed the Constitution, which I know we're still confirming whether or not that's true. But the idea that we are still considered less than human in a country that's not our own is on one hand crazy only because the ideology of the country being predicated on equal liberty for all, but at the same time it's not crazy because this is not our home. This is not a place that we have been able to claim ownership and or leadership of.
What about the Moors?
Huh?
What about the Moors?
Well, that's European history. That's not American history.
Okay.
See, that's debatable. That's debatable, Isaiah.
I thought the Moors were here in America just as well.
We gotta understand.
It may be debatable, but the facts are the facts. You look at history, we have yet to.
Yeah, but we gotta understand some things, man. Listen, this is why I go back to mindset. A lot of these things were created narratives, right? So when you say that the United States or America is not our home, for a lot of us, it is our home. We were here first, but we've been told and taught that we were not here first. And I said, that stuff is not true.
As far as being indigenous people, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like we gotta, once again, we gotta look at our mindset and how we are looking at what is going on and what is fact and what is not. Like I said, a lot of these folks who, you know, call it what it is, these supremacists who talking about go back to your country. I mean, that's actually a flip statement. We should be telling them to go back to their country. Like a lot of our people were here first.
Hey,
so if anybody should,
that's a good show. That's a good show.
Yeah, if anybody should be, if anybody should be leaving, it should be them. So to Isaiah's point, the fact that we've never been able to, or to his point of been able to own and lead this, essentially this geographic area, at a point we were doing that, but that was stripped away from us via the process of colonization. And we have now played into this narrative that was created that we're the outsiders, or quote unquote, as the US like to say it, we're the minority. And that's not even accurate.
And that's the intriguing point as well.
So this is when like I said, when I tie this back to the title of the show.
Thank you.
Black folks are not stupid at all, but we've been told a lot of lies. We've been deceived. We've been tricked. We lack knowledge because we don't go try to acquire that knowledge, and we go along with things that we know aren't right.
Ain't that stupid though? Ain't that stupid to do all those different things you stated? Isn't that stupid not to want to go do the research and do the homework, or not to come from up under the tree?
I'm not going to even call it stupid, man. Like I said, I call it insane. I call it insane. I call it insanity. Because we continue to not go source this knowledge, or we continue to not go learn what's really happening, or learn who we actually are as a people, but we expect things to change.
Right.
You know, we continue to march thinking that that's going to get us to a certain acquisition of something, if it be laws, changes, equality, or whatever. But in this system, a march is not going to do that. We continue to cast these votes.
Mute your mic, Zay, until you talk. Zay, mute your mic until you talk.
Right.
You're good. You're good. You're good. Go ahead.
But but like I said, we continue to go cast these votes, knowing that the voting system is based on white supremacy. So we can cast votes all we want, but at some point we got to understand a lot of the folks who take these office seats, especially these higher levels, these guys are bought and paid for. That's the whole point of a lobbyist. These guys are bought and paid for. So you can cast a vote all you want. If I want Trumpy in there over Hillary, that's who I'm gonna put in there.
Well, Quay,
go ahead.
When you say that, you say things are bought. So do you think that our culture is spending our money on the wrong things? Because I know we have buying power, but are we putting our buying power to in the right situations? Like instead of buying clothes and everything else, should we be using that to buy laws and politics and things like that?
No, of course. No, we've been spending our money in the wrong places and supporting the wrong organizations. No, that's a fact. And like I said, even that situation, I'm not going to make excuses, but that situation was created. Yeah, when you have a group of people that you restrict, so you restrict equality, you restrict treatment, you restrict education, you restrict funding, you restrict housing, you enslave them. There's a good chance that those people will essentially now have a syndrome to where they're always going to want to acquire things because these things were kept away from them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what you see now. So as soon as, you know, somebody gets their hands on some money, they trying to go spend it on some Louis or some Gucci or whatever.
Look at me, I made it. But I like Ruben's point where that is the tomfoolery. Like, okay, so I started acting. I'm like, man, I'm finally making it. And I went up into this room. I'm like, well, you gotta have a black card and all these different things, right? Get to go upstairs. And I went upstairs and I was like, this is it?
Right.
The feng shui might look a little different, but this is it. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I found this conversation or this topic to be so interesting is because every culture does ignorant things, right?
Right.
But the black culture is highlighted differently. Like we hear black on black crime, we never hear white on white crime, Asian on Asian, or whatever else race, whatever, right? So when black people are pulled over by the police, no matter what we do, it's looked at as if we're stupid.
Right.
But when our other counterparts encounter these same scenarios, they get to act 10 to 20 times worse than what we're doing and still live to tell the story.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm sorry, man. Go ahead.
Oh no,
no, madam, go ahead.
I guess I feel like that's what I was kind of alluding to earlier when I said the deception, right? Like we are so severely deceived. Like we actually believe though that somehow there's something that we can do to change a situation that was given to us. Like we feel we're still sitting over here, and these conversations have to happen. I'm not saying that, but we're still sitting over here trying to figure out how we can change a narrative that was given to us. We're still sitting here trying to figure out what we can do. Like we didn't do anything to put ourselves in this situation. This entire narrative was given to us. We were fed we were told how to dress. We were told how to think. We were told, I mean, just think about it. Like we think this is our culture. We actually think that the culture that they've given us is ours. We think that the pants sagging is ours. We think that the way we speak, we think all of that is ours. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of this was fed to us. It was given to us. They push these things to us. These designers, they tell us what we want to wear. They tell us what, and then we rock it. And because we fly anyway, because we just fly automatically, we make it great. And now every other nation wants to do it because, and it's not the item itself. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. It could be food, it could be drink, it could be anything. Wherever it is, we make it great because we're just great. And now every other nationality wants to emulate it. But these are things that they give us. This entire conversation is built off the fact that we're still sitting here trying to figure out. That's why we go back to that definition of insanity, right? We're still sitting here trying to figure out how us, the people who are oppressed, can do something to change our lot in life. When we don't understand that we're behind enemy lines. You know, like Isaiah said, this is not, I mean, I believe it was Isaiah that said this is not our home. Like this is not our home. So, this is not where we're supposed to be. And they don't want us to leave because this thing would collapse.
And this is not our home based on the Constitution, right? Because of the rules that were written by the laws of the land.
You said
I was saying because of the Constitution and the original rules that were written, like the Jim Crow laws, the black laws, the black codes, the Constitution and how it was written. Because in our culture, the way we passed down things was through song and dance. And then that's why they came up with the phrase, the pen is mightier than the sword. Because in their culture, they put it in a book, and then the book became the rules and the law of the land. And now we abide under someone else's laws. Go ahead, Quay.
I think that's Ruben. Go ahead, Ruben.
You guys are getting deep. Like this is stuff people need to hear. Have these conversations. You guys are getting deep. I'm not black. I'm Hispanic. But to hear this, that you guys saying this, and I hear this like, wow, I agree with everything you're saying. Everything. That's what I've seen. Everything. And I hear a white supremacy. Yes, I hear it. But I think it's now time hearing this. It seems a lot of people are in this situation, a lot. And obviously, you guys know more about your culture, and that's why you know more about slavery and so you're more well versed on it. But it is a problem. Um, the way I see America, like I was in Germany, stationed in Germany. I went there, and people over there see America. They see the culture, like the hip hop culture and everything. That is American. That is you guys. Like that is nothing to be ashamed of. Like these people came from nothing and they made it. They were able to create these wealth and stuff. So that culture and it applies to everyone. These ads, they want to sell you stuff, but I think people, that's how you learn things. It's like, yeah, I'll go buy and spend a Louis Vuitton. There's nothing wrong with that. You're gonna learn that eventually life is different and you learn from the stuff you do and you become wiser. And what you're saying, I think, again, I agree with everything, the Jim Crow's laws and everything, but I think it's time to start looking, now that we know what the problem is, it's time to start looking, hey, let's get down to who is this person doing this. We need to, if it's somebody in our Congress, we need to vote them out. They need to go. And that's what we need, but we need to get the word out. We need to start showing these people, look, this is the problem, but then this is why we're showing it now. Now let's move forward and fix this problem.
Yeah, the craziest idea, man.
I don't know. So what you're telling me, that's...
I said, Ruben, that everybody should just stop working.
Nope.
Everybody just stop.
Nope.
If everybody just stopped, you didn't do nothing.
Nope.
If the country just sit, the day America sits still, what would happen? Because one thing that I do know from my perspective is the people in power, they understand green. They understand money.
Mm-hmm.
When the NBA stopped playing, oh, what? They're not going to play the playoffs? Oh, no. We got to get back on the court. Hey, wear the shirts, do this, do that. You know what I'm saying? Things happen. When Donald Trump started talking about the NFL and the Shield and not watching it, and the NFL was about to lose money, the NFL was like, oh, hell no. Let's take a knee. Let's sing Kumbaya. Let's all come together.
And they're still doing it. They're like, they don't even know what they're doing. They're like, they don't even know who to side just to keep themselves relevant. The people there, the whoever's running it is
right. I just think if every race, including the people who think this is wrong, anyone who just thinks the situation is wrong, if everybody just stood still, what would happen?
Yeah, but Los, that's something that we got to realize, though, man. Like, there's a lot of folks who don't think this is wrong.
Yeah,
like we got to realize that, man. Like I said, at the end of the day,
and everyone else sit. That's fine. Let them work, and when everybody else sit, we'll see how long they'll feel that way. Because if we continue to get up and do the same thing every single day, why would my feelings ever have to change?
Facts.
You're gonna come and work for me anyway. You're gonna keep doing it anyway. You can whine, complain, but you're gonna come in anyway and do what the hell I tell you. So who cares? Look at them complain. Look at them march. They'll be back. They'll be back. I promise you. They're still buying Louis Vuitton, them dumb motherfuckers. They're still spending their money.
Basically.
You know what? I saw a comment from Miss Thornton that I kind of wanted to. Can you pull her comment up? I kind of wanted to unpack that.
The last
comment. How do we move? Okay. How do we move forward? How do we move forward? I think honestly, the first thing that needs to happen is that we need to educate ourselves. Like, we know we're not stupid. Okay. I'm not buying that narrative. I'm not accepting it. We are not stupid. Now, maybe it is insanity that we keep doing the same thing over and over again, but we are not stupid people. I would say that we do need to educate ourselves more about what's really going on out here. Like, they put everything in a book. Everything is in a book. Okay. Like, and I get it. This is the age of convenience. Who really want to have to read, right? But now they're putting it on audio, so you don't have an excuse. Like, we need to educate ourselves, and not just mainstream education either. Like, we need to educate ourselves on what's really going on out here. We need to educate ourselves on our real history, not the history that they gave us. We need to educate ourselves on the origins of where we really came from and who we really are. Because how are we supposed to even how are we even supposed to, make any type of progress or advancements if we can't, if we don't even really know where to start? Like, if we still confused about who we are.
Hold on one sec, Claude. I'm trying to see where this noise is coming from. Hold on.
Wrong.
It's coming from your phone, Chloe. It's coming from your phone. Yeah, she has some type of technical noise going. At least I thought it was.
You want me to come back in too, please? I'll come back in.
Yeah, hold on a minute. Let me see. Yeah, I'm not sure what that was.
Oh.
Check.
Yeah, no, we sound good. Now, it might have been Ruben. I'll see if he comes
Can you
back.
hear me?
Yeah,
you
I can hear
know who it is. They hear what we talking about. They see people starting to watch. Eric.
Right. I'm like, not today,
waking
Satan.
people up like that.
Hey, let me
Yeah.
get a couple of these comments real quick. Let's see. So Tarita dropped a comment. She said this is not where they are supposed to be either. So I think she was talking about basically
White
the
people being in
homeland.
America.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think Ruben's coming
And
back.
that's what's so crazy when they say go back to your country. You're not even from here.
Right.
But yet, that's why I said the Constitution and ripping it up was so important. Because when you create the Constitution, you feel like this is our land. This is ours. And if everyone, and now if it's every race that does that, you can no longer have that statement or power.
But
Right.
that's
because
not, you already know that's
power,
not what they're trying to do. I mean, I
of
agree
course,
with
because
you,
you have the
but
power.
that's not the plan.
Of course.
Yeah.
If I had to play the system, I ain't giving y'all nothing. Keep taking these crumbs. I mean, it's just that I just hate how people's mindset. If they weren't doing something stupid, they're just so lazy. They're uneducated. Okay, I just want to unpack that. If we're so lazy, America wouldn't be what America is today because it was built off our back. If we're so stupid, right now, Black women are the leading women or people in college graduating as entrepreneurs. Fact checking, but it's a fact. Okay, and then the other one, if we're so uneducated, remember there's a point in time where we couldn't read or write, but now we read, we write, and the songs that we've written, you're singing.
Well,
you're
how about
dancing
this?
to.
What about that? How about this? Let's take it even back. They gave us that narrative. They brought us here. We spoke a different language. We didn't speak this language, but we had to, without being taught, learn how to speak their language well enough to be able to communicate with them. This is what but we're so uneducated. We're so stupid.
And that's why it's so funny. It's like reverse psychology. And everything that is wrong is right, and everything is right is wrong. And so part of the Constitution is freedom of the press. Well, when you look in the press and you look in the news, look at the things and the stories that they tell. And when you're in charge of storytelling, you can create a narrative to paint a picture of anyone to look any type of way. And now when you have people outside of these countries, they're going to see the stories that are being told and believe that will be true. That's how you can have someone come from China and have a fear of Black people when they don't even know Black people, but yet, it's been created. They've been bamboozled. They've been brainwashed. They've been conditioned. If you go through Hollywood, it's almost like Orson Welles. Orson Welles was a famous director, and he came up with this narrative that the aliens are taking over the world. And he went on the radio, right? Because this is a time when TV wasn't around. And he went on the radio, and he was telling the story about how the aliens are here. And then everything just went quiet. And all of a sudden, there was a pandemic in America about aliens taking over America because people were bamboozled about the story that was being told. The question is that we need to look at is who is the author of these stories and why are these stories being told the way they're being told? Now, some of our flaws, we fall into some of the propaganda about our stories that we tell. Now,
Right.
sometimes you have to take the money. And what I mean by that is when you take the money, right? This is the Hollywood studio system. This is all about acting, right? When you come up with a script and you don't have the money to pay for that script, you have to, guess what? Go to the board, right? Who's on the board? It ain't us, right? And when they're on the board, they say, okay, Chloe, this is an amazing story you've written. We love it, right? And it's about Black empowerment, but you know what? We want you to take that character out, and we don't want her to be Black. We want her to be white. And then this part about, you know, where you guys are overcoming, we don't want that to be in there either. So they strip away the meat and potatoes to allow you to tell a watered down version of what the truth really is, because you can't really have the truth. Example, Birth of a Nation, buried. Oh my God, Nate Parker, look at all the things he did. Harriet Tubman, no disrespect, great movie, did a great job, but I felt, for me, kind of super watered down to a certain extent. Just a little bit about our history and our truth, because I wanted to see the struggle. I wanted to see the pain. I wanted to see everything that we've been through. But you can't tell truths like that if you're not going to pay for it. If you're not going to pay for it. And that's the reason why I brought that Hollywood example up is it goes into the laws. You're not going to get the laws you want unless you pay for it. So how are we going to get our Black businesses, our Black entrepreneurs, our people with wealth, even just people all together as a collective? Because I hate when people say, well, LeBron James should do it. No, LeBron is just one person. We should do it collectively and start buying the laws that we want.
Yeah, no, I feel what you're saying, man. But like I said, once again, we have to come back to understanding the system that we are in.
Right.
And going back to Nina's comment of how do we move, or how, you know, and move forward.
Yeah.
The first step in us moving forward is understanding what the heck we dealing with.
Right.
But right now, most
That's
of us
right.
don't understand what we dealing with.
That's
Facts.
right.
We think this mess is normal. We
Mhm.
think it's right, and we think we got some power in it, and we do not.
Mhm.
So that's the first thing we got to understand. The second thing we have to understand is we are not each other's enemy.
Right.
Go.
We gotta let that go.
Go.
We ain't bucking with each other. We all in the struggle together. We ain't bucking with each other, right? So we
And I
gotta
don't care
let
how much
that go.
money you got. At the end of the day, look what they did to LeBron James, just for an example, since his name's been thrown out there. When he moved to California, LeBron James has changed the game of basketball. He's built a production company. He's built charter schools and everything else. He's been an outstanding citizen, you know what I mean, to the best of his abilities. And he still, when he moved to California, they still wrote nigger all over his home. So I don't care how much money you have. At the end of the day, you're still going to be perceived a certain way.
No, all the money really, basically all the money really does is it just validates how much control you don't have. So let that sink in. When somebody is wealthy, like I said, I'll take a LeBron James as an example, right? When somebody is wealthy, especially out of this community, and they get to a level of wealth that a LeBron James is at, trust and believe there's a lot of strings that's controlling LeBron James. So a person with less money is actually more powerful than somebody with money. We need to let that sink in.
Say that one more time.
A person with more money is actually less powerful than a person with less money.
Now here's the thing. I will say this about LeBron, though. Out of any other superstar, he has been one of the people on the forefront of making change and making a difference. And not only just saying it, but creating situations and putting his money where his mouth is. Kind of like Colin Kaepernick. Even though he got blackballed, he did step up and create Know Your Rights. He fed people in a different country. He created a prison reform program with men with suits and everything else. So these gentlemen have created other opportunities to open up different narratives so we can have some type of relief from the oppression that has been placed upon us.
Yeah, no, I'm not denying that. Even in those situations, you got to pay attention to how they move, because even some of the moves that are made, less that I know to us, it looks one way, but if you actually break down the moves and how the moves were made, you'll see it's not what you think. So I'm gonna leave that alone, because that's another show.
We'll do that on another show. Look, y'all thought y'all was about to get that.
That's another show.
This show is are black people stupid? Y'all ain't getting extra credit. Y'all got to come back and tune in for the next show.
let me hit these comments real quick, man. We got a couple comments that came in. Let's see. Nina Thornton says, learn the system and learn how to break the system within. So no, that's facts. So the major key out of that is you got to learn the system and understand the system. Then you can make your moves based off how the system works and how you need to navigate that. So that's key right there, Nina.
Learn to play Monopoly.
That's what I mean. You have to educate yourself. Like, we have to educate ourselves. Like, the reason why we are not as effective, I think, as we could be is because we don't know what we need to know. Like I said, we've allowed media to tell us
the story. Fox News is
tell us the story and frame it for us. I mean, we've allowed them to do that. So we need to educate ourselves. We need to be more educated about how things operate. We need to be more educated about ourselves, who we really are. We just need all around, like, we need to stop allowing people to just tell us things and we just accept it.
Hey, Chloe, I got a question for you because you and Quasi touched on education, right? Mm-hmm. How do y'all feel about the monuments being destroyed?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked me that. You mean like some of the historical statues of like the slave owners and like, those people?
Yes.
I mean, I just think it's more symbolism. And I say that because I don't need you to tear a statue down. That's not real change. That's not real reform. That's not real progress. Like, that's not doing, because see, what happens is now that you've torn down all of these statues of all these racist people, all these slave owners and all these plantation owners and all these people who killed a lot of black people, now that you've done that, now you get to once again rewrite history. Because see, now those people are gone, right? Their images are gone. So now you can act like that stuff never happened. So the generations that come after us, the young, my sons, their sons, the people that come after us, they don't know about any of that, right? Because you covered it up. You took it all down, you covered it up. So now so now we're no longer slaves, we're indentured servants. And see, you can sell that to those generations that come after us because they don't know any better. And they're not gonna read it because they're not gonna pick up a book. So they don't know any better. You know what I mean? So yeah, you want to take down the statue. See, that doesn't serve us. That does nothing for me as a black person. I don't care how many leave them up. They've been up all this time. Leave them up. I don't care. I want equality and equity. I don't care about the statue. The statue ain't
wait. You want what? Can you say that one more time?
You want what? Equality and equity. I don't care about a statue.
Why you want equity?
Well, because it doesn't do anything for me for you to give me the same rights as somebody else if they're not equally, if it's not weighted the same. So it doesn't make sense for you to say, okay, everybody, like you said, like everybody has free speech. Okay, that's equality, right? But then but when it comes to black people, though, you have free speech, but only to a certain degree. And I hope I'm explaining that right.
What do you mean by the degrees? Can you give us a different level of degrees? Do you mind touching the degrees just a little bit? Sprinkle a little obase off of the degrees?
Yeah, of course. Like you have freedom of speech as long as you are not saying anything that goes against our narrative. As long as you're not out here waking up people to the lies and the deceptions that we have given them. Like we got y'all program. We don't need you out here. But that's why people's posts on Facebook is getting taken down. We don't need you out here waking nobody up to the fact that we dislike you and deceive.
What type of post being taken down? What type of post? Go back again.
The post being taken down is the truth. Everything that's the truth, the real truth. This is how you'll know if something is true or not. If it's here today and going tomorrow. That's the truth.
Look at my investigator. Look at my investigator Rupert over there. Like
they allow.
Oh no, I agree 100%. This is not news to me. I agree, and we're living in the council culture too as well. It's happening at people's jobs and stuff. You don't agree. People are scared to speak their minds and stuff because for fear of losing their jobs and being shut down on social media as well.
Look at Colin Kaepernick.
He's speaking the truth 100%.
Here's the thing, Ruben. You know why I do that? I'm gonna be the system. I like being the system. Let me take my hat off. If I cut your head off, nobody else in your family will ever challenge me again because you'll be too scared. If I make an example out of you, I wish somebody else would stand up and do it. Yeah, Colin, we'll fake like we want you back in the league, right? The NFL, you know what? We support Black Lives Matter. Colin Kaepernick ain't had a job since. Eric Reed can't get a job.
He's part of the cancel culture. He was canceled.
But
He was
here's the
canceled.
thing. No, he was part of the truth culture.
No,
and they canceled the truth.
No, yeah, they canceled him.
Here's the thing.
Canceled him.
If America runs like a computer, it has a virus. And anybody who comes, that's why I love the Matrix so much, right? Because you have all these agents out there, Mr. Anderson, that's out there to make sure that the program runs functional the way they set it up. But if you have anybody that comes out there like Neo or Morpheus that starts telling the truth that disrupts the program, we have to get rid of that. And that's been shown throughout history. When like right now, me and Kwesi, our show ain't that big. But let me and Kwesi be on here talking what we talking right now and have 2 million people watching. All of a sudden, that connection ain't about to be the same. All of a sudden, we're not going to be able to reach the same amount of people. Wait, who are they? See, right now, we ain't nobody right now to the major overall system. You know what I'm saying? Look at them. Ain't that cute? But let it be 2 million followers on this. Oh, they're breaking the internet? Wait, people ain't going to the versus battle and they're going to look in the mirror of the conversation to talk about truthful things that can actually help them and change their life. Oh no. Kwesi, you're blocked. You can't get on today. King, you're blocked. You can't use Facebook today. You're gonna have to find another platform to do this on.
And that's exactly what's happening. I've been hearing a lot of stuff like this. And back to Colin Kaepernick, he was canceled. If you think about it, he stood. I think this was his quote: "Stand for something that you believe in, even though it'll cost you everything."
Facts.
He stood for something he did believe in, and look what it cost him. It cost him his career. And here's the thing: I did not agree with the knee taken for the flag. I thought, okay, it wasn't appropriate and such. However, it's not the end of the world. Did he get a fine? Was there a rule in place for that from the NFL? If there wasn't, then we move on. He brought a point. Can we focus on the point? But no, instead, if there was a rule, did he get fined? Can we move on? No, instead, they canceled him. They wouldn't hire them. And that's what happened. And I think that message, it created this whole mess. And I think, unfortunately, that message got lost in the way.
Well, let me double down on what you said.
Now, no, let me finish. Now, again, I don't watch NFL. I wasn't very athletic when I was a kid and everything. But what I'm seeing now that the NFL is like, oh, you know what? I think we fucked up. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. This our show. You're good.
Fix it. Oh, let's start allowing them to do this and that. And now I'm feeling like, what are you? This is on the NFL and not the people. It's like we're so focused on the people and the players. It's like, dude, NFL, you better get your stuff together, man, because it's like you're playing a game because you know you messed up and now you just don't know what way you want to lean on. And that's how I see that NFL situation. And it's unfortunate because Colin Kaepernick did get canceled.
Well, the reason why I wanted to double down on your statement, right, was because they said, oh, it's disrespectful to the flag, right? People feel multiple ways about that. I'm not going to control no one and tell them how to think, right? My question to you people is what platform should have been done on? Because we've marched.
No, and it's not about that. No, it's not even the platform. It's nothing. You're creating.
Hold on.
Like, no. Let me finish, King. What you're creating now is you're creating. What about this? No, what I'm saying is, to me, it wasn't appropriate, but that's it. Appropriate, that's nothing. I could live with it. I'm like,
yeah, but I'm talking about the results of what actually happened, though.
But a lot of people did.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the results.
I don't know about other platforms and stuff. The fact is, it happened, but it's not the end of the world. It's like it's not the end of the world. It wasn't. So he got the message out. He got the message out. If
I'm the system, though, it is. If I'm the system, it is the end of the world. Because we can't allow people to start standing up. We can't allow people to start thinking for themselves. We can't start to allow people to unite. But the reason why I doubled down on your point was, hold on, Mr. Rubin. The reason why I doubled down on your point was this. When Kansas City just got done playing the first NFL game, they locked arms. They didn't take a knee. It wasn't during the national anthem. And the announcer said, this is just for equality and justice. And they were booed. So it had
And-
nothing to do with the flag.
King,
It had
let me
nothing to do
ask you
with
this.
anything except for people
It's
united.
not much of a debate as I'm asking you because I don't know much about Colin Kaepernick and stuff. But you mentioned earlier that he did things, that he's done things. And you mentioned earlier that we mentioned it was insane. So we get we start doing insane, repeating the same thing without solution. So what is it that Colin Kaepernick has changed? I would say, you know what, Colin, run for office. Show him, invest all your money in there and take it to the inside and run it and change it from there, because that's where we need the police reform, and everything he's seeking, that's where he's getting. But the way, I don't know what he's done. So if he's done other than getting more attention, or he continues to work towards the attention, yeah, we got the attention, but who's stepping up to the plate now? Like, who's going to be that thing? What are the solutions? But you're telling me that there are no solutions, like we're done. Like,
No, I'm not saying there's no solution.
No.
I
Okay.
I 100%.
It seems that way because you keep giving me examples that are really like, well, what about this? But I'm just
No,
trying
no.
to understand. I
These
don't
were
know
my
much about
solutions
this.
that I stated, Mr. Rubin, for clarity. My solutions was, remember I said if the whole world shut down, change would happen? Because now all of a sudden you're affecting their pockets and the world's not moving the way they want it to move. My other thing was buying laws, educating yourself, understanding the system, being more educated about what's happening, and then being able to come up with a plan and devise a plan on how to execute that. So there are different solutions. I've never, not one time on this platform, stated that there are no solutions. I only identify what the problems have been.
No. But this is my first time, and I'm trying to understand.
No. You're fine. You're fine, Mr. Rubin. You're asking questions,
and to add
that's
on
why you're
that
here.
too, and to add on your thing too, it's like, I think it's time to start identifying who the races are specifically. Like you mentioned, white supremacy. Well, let's start looking into this history of white supremacy. Who are these guys? Did they have families? Are they already infiltrating the system? Are they in office right now? Should we be running against them to get them out? Because the power of the vote, that's where it's at. But we need to
Here's the
get
thing,
this
Mr.
word
Rubin.
out to everyone.
They are the system.
That's what
So hold
that's
on.
how I see it.
Hold on, Ruben. I got a question for you. So you said you're Hispanic.
Yeah.
So as a Hispanic, do you or your community, do you guys experience this type of stuff?
Yes, and but we figure out ways to move forward. For example, I live in Los Angeles. It's a Hispanic community mostly. It's mostly Southern American. And I'm not going to get to details about the persons and so on, but they run a business. So they say, you know what? I've been running this business, and it's a true story, since Obama got into office and everything that the lady's telling me, and it wasn't as good then, but I was surviving. He's like, so, but then so I used Obama because it was 2008. So you know how the economy continued to get better and better as time went up. So it got to the point like where she's saying, I couldn't keep inventory in it. I kept going to the warehouse and buying more stock. They couldn't even keep stuff in the warehouse, so business was booming. And she said that, but then COVID hit, and then everything started going down. Now I can't take my kids to school. They're not teaching them, I have to keep him here at work. They were right there at the store, and she was frustrated. It's like the teachers don't want to take him back. Their unions are fighting. Why can't I get that money so I could teach them then? Why are they getting the money if they're just going to sit it out? So she's saying all that.
Quay, you still there? I think he froze.
Did he freeze up?
I don't know if he answered what you was asking to a certain extent, but
Yeah, I think he froze, man. Hey, Ruben, if you
we got a guest. We got another guest, Quay.
Isaiah, I think he's got us on. He's got us on pause.
Okay, no problem.
I'll pull him in once he comes back. I think Ruben looks like he froze, man. So I'll see if
I
he
don't know if
comes
he
back.
actually answered what you were asking, but I think he could go into more detail about that when he comes back.
I was looking to understand, because just based off a couple of the statements that he was making, I was looking to understand, Hispanics, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, and so forth, South Americans, they experience some of the same oppressions. So I wanted to see, was he experiencing those oppressions, in his community directly? Because I said our conversation.
I wanted to see how he said he was moving forward. because he tried to say in his culture they deal with it, but they just move forward. And I wanted for him to elaborate what that looks like, because I wonder, how do you move forward when there's a police encounter and their lives are being taken? What is the move forward? What is the process? What is the equality? Because last time I checked, Trump was locking children up, putting them in cages, and separating people from their family members and different things of that sort. So I wanted to know what would be the difference in moving forward from his perspective in that culture compared to what he think that to moving forward here, because maybe we could take two pieces together and combine it to find a more creative way to be able to move forward.
Yeah, I think he's coming back. Let me see if his feed checks in.
Okay, there he is.
All right, Ruben.
Mm-hmm.
So you yeah, go ahead.
So then she pretty much says, you know what, I'm gonna hold it down because I'm not gonna get on welfare. I'm not gonna do that. In that was her story right there. But I am amazed being here and watching how close the Black community is with each other. You guys are not just individuals. You're like, no, there is a problem here, and I need to say something. I need to stand up for everyone. And in my culture, I mean, we're a little more independent. You see, so. But and I think that might be it. But I'm just speaking for myself.
Okay.
That's why I'm so amazed how.
Can you elaborate on what that means?
As in
being independent.
As in what?
Say that again, Chloe.
Well, no, you said
Elaborate on what part?
The part about you said that you got in your culture.
Oh, in my culture, Hispanic, we're family oriented, but we're not. For example, what I've noticed throughout my years, I was in the military, so I've had a lot of Black friends and everything. What I've noticed about the Black community is, like, if one Black person makes it, they bring everybody together. They help as many people as they can. You understand me? And that's what I've seen. That they bring their posse, like in boxing. It's like if they become successful, then they start bringing your friends. As in Hispanics, you really don't see that. It's just their families.
I feel like De La Hoya didn't do the same thing. Cesar Chavez in boxing, they didn't do the same thing.
No, yeah, they sure did, but it's a like few. You understand me? It's just a like few. No, it's a compliment. This is the camaraderie, the union.
I'm not saying that. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're just stating your truth.
And I'm just talking from personal opinion. Yeah. Honestly, guys, everything you guys are saying, I agree 100%.
Mr. Ruben, remember when we were talking outside? Because I met Ruben or whatever. I got the opportunity to pleasure to meet this young man or whatever else, and we were having a conversation. And I don't want to make it seem like it's Front Street, but when I had spoke to you, you kind of made me think about the title when I was talking about Black people being arrested. And one of the things was they should stop doing stupid things. And I wanted your perspective or thoughts about that in that.
Oh, okay. So when we were talking that, not at one moment did I assume we were talking just for Black people. Because like I told you, I've heard all these stories of people doing videos. So I say, yeah, they go do stupid things. The actions themselves are stupid. The actions, and not the individual. The actions, I mean, I do stupid things all the time. And then unfortunately, some of these things that individuals do result in being arrested when they shouldn't have been arrested if they just would have followed. However, you did mention names of people, right? When I said that my stupid actions never meant to those people, because I don't know much of that information. I meant it as a whole, people doing it, certain examples that I've seen, like, oh yeah, that was stupid.
Well, I asked that to you because I wanted to know, like when people are being arrested, things that are stupid, things that you shouldn't do. This is what's stupid. If you're being arrested, this is what you shouldn't do. And then, because I wanted to compare and contrast that to the videos that we see, not saying that every single video we see is the same, but I think there's a huge difference where all races do stupid things, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's a huge difference in how people are treated, regardless of their stupidity, based on their color.
Okay,
because all races
and before I continue, I don't know if I'm in the wrong show, because when I'm speaking, I'm not speaking just for one race. I'm speaking about everyone. That's right. So, and I understand. And like I mentioned, you guys are a community. You have a community right there. So I don't know much of these issues, but to hear these issues while I'm here speaking to you, this is like,
yes, sir.
whoa, I agree with everything. This is a problem, and it needs
Yeah,
to be
Ruben,
we
fixed.
had a dope
Yeah,
conversation.
and we need to have these
That's why
conversations. Hey, how do we fix it? And I say, you know what? Let's find out
Yes.
the history of these people and everything. And I like the Constitution. I believe it's a thing, but there's certain people in government that are keeping us from using those to be successful in life, to find that peace. There's this one thing I don't know it verbatim, but I know Martin Luther said it's like, I'm here to cash in on that promissory note of the Constitution. I want a piece of that. Don't keep me from that. And you know.
So Ruben, we got a comment that just came in for you, man. So
Okay.
let me present this to you. So Yvette Wright said, ask him if he would feel that way if it were his people in our situation. So let's do a little role play.
Okay.
So I'm sure you hear a lot of the situations that are happening to Black folks right now. So you're seeing the videos of the shootings in the backs. You're seeing the Breonna Taylors. You're seeing the George Floyd situations.
Yeah.
So I want you to flip that.
Yeah.
And let's just say that was one of your people or one of your family. Like, do you still feel the actions possibly were stupid on a from a general perspective?
Okay. Again, you have to give me a specific person or everything, but in general, if someone, what are the actions? What was the cause? What was the example right here? Did the person die or
let's change it, Mr. Rubin. What do you think people do? What stupid things do you think people do when they're in an entanglement with the police officers? Shout out Jada. Jada.
You have to give me an example. Like what
No, I'm
example
saying,
are
what I'm saying is if a person is encountered with a police officer, right, for a ticket or whatever the encounter is, whatever the reason they're stopped for, when you observe these sort of scenarios, what things do you think people do? Like, bro, why would you do that? That's stupid.
Yes, I see what you're saying. Okay, so for example, you get pulled over. I'm just from an incident. I say I was never a patrol officer or nothing like that, so I'm just assuming. Okay, let's see. So you get pulled over. You're driving. You get pulled over, and this is a real example that I saw. Okay, the officer knocks on the window. He's like, "Can you come out?" And it's like, "No, I can't come out. I don't want to come out." But something led to that. Something led to that already. That was just like, well, we need.
What race was that person? Was he black, white?
Hispanic. He was Hispanic.
Hispanic. Okay.
Okay, so he didn't want to come out, so he started to get aggressive. Just aggressive. So what that did, now the police pulls him out. I was like, okay, must be something going on here in this car. Why was he acting like it? So he pulls him out.
But doesn't he have the right to say he doesn't want to get out the car, Mr. Rubin, legally?
Something happened.
Doesn't he legally have the right to say he doesn't have to get out the car?
At that point, he was to get out of the car, but his attitude continued, which led to more, to him getting arrested pretty much. If he would have just got out of the car, let the police run the name, it's like, you know what? You're not the person we're looking for. Be on your way. But no, the gentleman got aggressive. It's like, no, F you, everything. So that led him to get him arrested, I don't know what the charges was, but the action is like, you know what? That was stupid. There was no need for that. You understand?
Okay.
Go ahead, Isaiah.
Let me see if I can. Oh, you unmuted me?
Yeah,
go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Oh, am I still frozen, or can you hear me?
No, you're good.
We can see you. We can hear you good, man. Go ahead. Speak your piece.
Aim the camera a little higher. Your head cut off.
Oh, yeah. I was. I think. First of all, I want to say, like, I'm loving this conversation. I think I would like to say that one of the most beautiful things about this conversation is something that I have long desired to see, and I hope that it grows, which is the fact that no change that is inherently anti-American in terms of what we've seen as the status quo will happen if we don't come together and have these conversations and then build upon these conversations. We have to come together cross-culturally as minority groups in America to make ourselves we actually already are the majority in terms of representation. We actually are the majority. It's just that because we do not work together, we can't exercise the right for majority rule. So I'd like to first say that, Mr. Rubin, I like the way that you think, man. You're a fair dude.
Thank you.
You're across the board fair. I don't hear any kind of like bias in your tone. I like the fact that you take it by a case scenario. I think that's very important as we engage in these conversations, because it is true. We have to take each case as an individual thing. However, I cannot deny a lot of the emotional response that you sense from the Black community is not by case scenario, but a combination of case by case plus 500 years of cases. And that is a burden that we carry with us deep inside. It motivates us, but it also causes us great anxiety and stress. And it causes us a lot of undealt with pain. And I think in our situation, what you see is that you see a lot of congruencies. If you look at from the perspective of a child looking at all of these scenarios, and you as a child, you don't understand the complexities of a case by case scenario. What you do understand is that, damn, everybody that's shot and killed that's unarmed looks just like me. What's up with that? I think that, what I was going to say before I get off track is that, I'm a person who is, legacy, U.S. military, 4 generations. I have 2 degrees, a bachelor's and a master's from pretty good schools. I've definitely been a law-abiding citizen. And yet I've been to jail 4 times. I've been arrested 4 times. I've been to jail 3 times. The longest I've stayed in jail was 3 days, 4 days, 3 nights. All from situations that if I were to ask any good cop on a good day, they would agree that it was some bullshit. And in those scenarios, I did what I was supposed to do. I was arrested. I put my hands on the steering wheel. I put my wallet on the dash. I took out my driver's license before the cop even approached my car, which is standard police procedure. This is what people don't know that you should do before the cops even approach your car. Keep your hands on the steering wheel, get your wallet out, put it on the dashboard, take out your driver's license, make sure your registration is close in hand. That's like when the sirens come on and you pull over, do that first. So that when the cop approaches your car, he sees your hands are on the wheel. That's basically saying, I'm not a threat. I don't have any weapons that I'm trying to use right now. And I understand that we're getting ready to engage in a legal process. And I'm giving you all the information is out and ready, available that you need. There are many people who do not understand that due process. I learned that due process from being arrested. And I learned that due process from a cop who was willing to share that information. However, that's not common knowledge. And with all of my assimilated articulation and book smarts, I've still been subjected to degrading treatment, unfair treatment by the hands of certain officers. You are right. There are a lot of situations that are handled in a way that is not taking into account that there's more than one person engaged in the situation. In other words, it's not just you getting pulled over. It's you getting pulled over by another human being who has an agenda or whatnot. And you have to figure out how to build a bridge so that the situation can be handled accordingly. But even if you do, as I did, it does not guarantee your safety.
No, yeah.
And a lot of that is predicated on the color of your skin. And I will also say, furthermore, the darker you are, the worse treatment you're going to get. And that is historically congruent. in America because of the nature of our relationship to dark.
Mm-hmm. And you are 100%. That is the problem right there. Our system is not. There's a problem with. There needs to be reform on it, because somebody mentioned a comment right there. A police shouldn't just pull you over like that. That is 100% true. They shouldn't be doing anything that's been going on. I've seen a lot of videos where they shouldn't be doing the stuff they've been doing, and yeah, they shouldn't be doing. But the problem that I mentioned earlier, it was just assuming that that person did something stupid. But what you're talking about, there is a problem in that system where people go to jail, they get put in jail. For example, right now, the biggest problem I'm seeing right now, innocent people are getting arrested and getting pulled in jail and then getting released afterwards, and after they get their vehicle impounded too. It's happening. If you look it up, you'll see it. What's happening is California and several other states passed a law involving legal marijuana. So because there was never a system in place to test this, so people are getting pulled over, and they're because of the actions of the officers. Say the driver says, "Oh, I can't talk because I don't talk to people because I want my attorney." Oh, this guy doesn't want to talk to me. That's paranoia right there. So I'm gonna advance it a different level. Say the cop didn't like your attitude, he could advance it and then they're gonna arrest you, and then you're gonna get your blood drawn. And then they're going to let you go, but then look at all the hardship they brought up on you. So that's the problem with the system. You got people that carry a badge. They think they're above the law. You can't tell them anything. People have bad days. If you pull me over and I have a bad day, like, okay, cool down. You don't have to escalate it either. That's a problem right there. And there needs to be a solution that everybody needs to come out and work on these solutions, but unfortunately, they're not working there. They're putting innocent people in jail all the time. The federal level, the state level, these courts, they're putting innocent people all the time. Wherever they want, whoever's in their pockets, they do it all the time. We see it all the time. And you're giving us an example of, to you, look, when I get pulled over, I do the same thing. I roll down my windows, get the keys out, boom, put them there, and that's it. There's no need to elevate anything like that. And it does happen, and that is a problem that we need to get to it, but nobody's fixing it. And they're not fixing it. These people that are in office, they're not fixing it. So I feel like we need to get and find out who are these people and get them out of office. These attorney generals, these DOAs, the Departments of Justice that are there. It's like, we need to get you out because, man, you're prosecuting people. You're taking dads from home for weed or for anything and now you have kids without a father, without that guidance to tell them, here, read this book. This is the way, stuff. So that's what you're creating. And then you're redlining people, and now they can't buy homes. I don't know if it happens now, but I read in history, it happened there. It's a historical fact. And that's what I'm saying. It's the Constitution is there, but I feel these people in government, especially in California, they're keeping us from achieving that dream. I truly do feel that way. It sure does feel that way.
But not to put words into Mr. Martin's mouth, but I think you're tapping into a perspective, an awakening. I'm seeing that you're tapping into awakening.
No. I've known that this is not news to me. It's just the way. Okay, so you, the black community and everything. I'm not black, so and I know what you guys are talking about. And I understand your community, everything, but you understand that is bad for you to say that you've been arrested for being innocent. That is wrong. And you're telling me because this is your skin color, that is very wrong. You understand me? Mm-hmm.
I do. I totally know what you mean.
That is wrong.
I think the bigger question is, though, as you're saying the things that I think the question that we all have to ask ourselves is why? Why does the normative look like this? It's a little deeper than like we have to do something to fix it, because when we ask ourselves, why is the normative like this? That's the question that you have to ask yourself. And the answer to that will be much, much bigger than even racism.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to talk about, if I may, I know you guys, I was out of the loop for a minute. Sorry. Making y'all dizzy.
You good?
But I wanted to.
Unmute yourself, Los. I think you muted, man.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, go ahead.
You're good. Go ahead.
I know Isaiah was about to say something. Go ahead.
I wanted to circle back to what I was talking about earlier in terms of equality and in terms of whether or not we can call this country our home. As a point of clarification, throughout human history, human beings, unfortunately, have fought for that which they own or that which they think they own. And because I'm a humanist, I will say that my Aryan brothers and sisters believe that they fought a war and won. And he who wins the war gets to write the history. He who wins the war gets to make the laws that apply to who they think they should apply to. And we're a very young country. We've never had a coup. We've never had, we've had, one civil war between white people. And so I think that when I say that this is not our country, when I say this is not our home, what I mean to say is that we have not yet, in the traditional form of human history, fought a war that we have won, and thereby which we have been, in the eyes of some people, earned the right to change the law. And that is a conversation that many people don't want to have because it sounds like you're promoting violence, but I'm talking about human history. I'm not actually promoting violence. What I'm actually saying is that in America, we are endeavoring to do something that has never been done in the history of man, which is to create a new society based on a democratic system of government to actually make change without going to war. That's something that we're endeavoring to do, and we've never done that before. But we're also a very young country. Now, I'm the type of person who believes that, what I've learned the most from being a parent is that we're all a bunch of 5-year-olds. That's what I've learned from being a parent. And that's not demeaning. That's just saying that the attitudes that we have as 5-year-olds, we don't necessarily grow that far away from as adults. And now when I try to explain to my son that, hey, there's a kid who has been overlooked in this classroom for a week. He hasn't gotten to play with the toys that you've gotten to play with. He hasn't gotten the same treatment from the teacher that you've gotten to play with. For this country being young and my son being 5, trying to get him to understand that this person who's been overlooked all week should get special treatment so that he can catch up to the rest of the kids. He won't understand that. He won't understand that. And America doesn't understand that for us. And
But you don't think they understand that?
Well, if you're talking about whether or not they understand that it should be done, that's a different thing. I'm talking about they don't understand that in the way that they will not. They're not going to be for that. And most Americans are not going to be for that. Now, I'll say this in closing because I unfortunately have a tendency to be long-winded, and I really don't want to be, because I want to hear the great minds that are in this conversation as well as the people chatting in. But I will just tell you this story. I took a group of high school students to Senegal. And we went to Senegal, and we were staying in Dakar. We were staying in a pretty rural village, fortunately. And we all took a trip to Gorée Island, which is where the slave fortress was, that they held the slaves in Gorée Island. It's a direct line straight across from South Carolina. If you took a boat from South Carolina straight to Africa, you'd hit Gorée Island.
Right.
And we were with some of the people of Senegal in the village who we were staying with, and particularly a bodyguard that was assigned to our group came with us. This brother's about 6'8", solid, 245, 270, solid muscle. He was a boxer, he's a heavyweight champion of Senegal as a boxer for a time. And then he retired due to a fight that he had where he was poisoned and it was a mess. He couldn't fight anymore. But we went to this slave fortress, and the Americans, the Black Americans, the Afro-Americans, were obviously having an emotional experience that they had never had before, just thinking about their ancestors having experienced the transatlantic slave trade. And me and this guy had established kind of a rapport, and he always wore dark sunglasses, so you could never see his eyes. And he said, you know, why are you crying? I was like, what do you mean? Why am I crying? He was like, I'm surprised to see you guys so emotional. And I was like, well, why are you surprised? And he said, because you never came back. He said, because we thought that you guys were living in the lap of luxury in America, being one of the wealthiest countries in the world. You're getting all this good education. You're having an opportunity to develop economic equality. You're having the opportunity to be in government. And he said, you guys never came back. And I said, I can't even remember what I said to him, but the culmination of that moment ended in us both crying for each other, with each other, because of the misunderstanding. And I said, man, it's not like, it's not that we didn't want to come back. We just didn't know how, because literally within 200 years, you already had a situation where Black American slaves, or Black folks who thought themselves American, but still enslaved, had a very strong, disconcerting relationship to new African slaves. When you read Zora Neale Hurston's book, Barracoon, which was posthumously released, the man who was the oldest living person who had experienced the entire slave trade. I suggest that book for everybody because it talks about his entire process being captured as a slave at 8 years old in Africa by another African village with female warriors who took over the village, decapitated people, took him as a slave, and then he was sold to white slave merchants. After slavery, in terms of people going to Africa to get slaves, that had already been abolished legally. And he talked about when he arrived on American shores that he was made fun of by the other Black slaves. Made fun of, called all kind of names, the colorism that we see even today. That's how fast that mentality started. And I explained that to this brother, and we both ended up crying because of the misunderstanding. So when I say this is not our home, I am speaking to the fact that we are still expected to assimilate into a culture that is very much identifiably European, a culture that we have had a ton of influence in. Not only is it European, but it is European and also Christian. So much so that we have to re-question the things that we think are strange and weird. We have to question when those thoughts come up for us, and we have to examine, are those thoughts my own? Or are those thoughts part of what I have accepted as my identity because I have assimilated into this society? When I touched down in Africa and I was struck by a great fear and amazement that I had from being in a place where, as far as my eye could see, everybody looked like me. I was struck, and that feeling never left me. And I realized in that moment I had never experienced that in my life.
The word. Well, this is why we do the show. for amazing people like yourself. Everyone's amazing and everyone has an amazing story. But for moments like this, that was a special moment, Zay. I appreciate you sharing that moment. I appreciate your vulnerability. Mr. Rubin, I appreciate your courage. I appreciate your openness to say, hey, you know, I'm Spanish. I might not know the culture, but I'm learning and I want to know more. And something has to be done. How do we get the lawmakers and the people out of that situation or those positions? You know what I mean? Because this show isn't about all of us coming on here in the green. It's about us all having positive controversy and respecting each other because we can all grow that way. Because if everyone agrees on the same thing, there's no growth and we become comfortable in where we are and that becomes stagnant. So I want to give Quay an opportunity to get some of the comments because we want to thank our viewers because you guys help the show grow. And without you guys, we don't have a show. So we'll go there and then we'll do closing remarks. And we want you guys to bring a friend. We want you guys to share the show. We want you guys to continue helping us grow. And we appreciate everyone in the comment section. So Quay, anybody want to tap in the comment section, then we'll do closing remarks.
Yeah, let me just shout out some of these names. I said I've been posting the comments up in the feed, so we've been seeing them as they've been coming up. But let me just shout some names out. Lisa Finney, Chloe Price, Tristina Thornton, Yvette Wright, DeMarcus Finley. We got a lot of them in here. Tarita, see Dante Winkler. Yeah, like I said, just a lot of support. So let me shout out everybody who has commented. But I want to make sure we close out with this comment displayed. So go ahead, Los.
That's from Lisa Finney. We are not stupid. We are brilliant. And I think our opposing oppressors know that we're brilliant. And that's why they run the programs that they say about you're stupid, you're this, you're that. And they continue to try to brainwash people or condition people. And I think that's what was so beautiful about and well spoken and articulated by Isaiah. Are your thoughts your thoughts? Or are they programs that you've been designed to believe? Are you free or are you running someone else's program? Because it seems like anytime someone finds the freedom from the program that has been installed in you, all of a sudden we have to get rid of it. All of a sudden that person has to be taken out. When that person becomes the antivirus to the system and he starts a great awakening and not just talking about it with one person, but when the collective comes together because they understand that there's power in unity. I think Ruben talked about unity. I think Isaiah talked about unity. And I think Kwesi talked about unity and not just becoming united, but taking our education, applying that, and coming together as one will create the different changes that we want. Because we all have a story. I was wrongfully arrested. I was wrongfully abused. And I was in my military uniform protecting the country. And so that's why I had the question about the Constitution, because I was also wearing the flag that I protected while I was beaten, and wrongfully facing 10 years in jail just for the color of my skin. And that's what the book is about. But I just want to close this the same way I close every show, with the quote, if you died today, would you get an A+ on life support card? If not, and you're blessed to see tomorrow, you better live like it's extra credit because tomorrow's not promised. Every day you wake up is an opportunity to change your future, but it's a closer day to your graveyard. So what are you waiting for? Let's just be great with every breath we take. Let's educate each other. Let's love each other. Let's start to get understanding. Let's start to question ourselves. And that's why me and Kwesi came up with Look in the Mirror in the productions. The conversation. We want you to look in the mirror and say, hey, Isaiah pointed it out. Are these my thoughts? Or is this just a program that's running through my mind? And question yourself, because there's nothing wrong with you talking to yourself to get to the root of the question to find out, is it a program or is it you? We love you guys. Thank you for joining the show. Please bring a friend. Isaiah, Ruben, you guys are welcome on the show anytime. Everyone in the comment section, you can join the panel and be in these positions and speak your brilliance just as well. Whether you agree or whether you disagree, it's not about that. It's about the growth in the conversation. So please share. Please bring a friend. Please continue to help us grow. We're going to continue having these amazing conversations on these amazing topics. Quay?
Yeah, Lester, if just, kind of just to get the word out there, everybody go check us out. We are on YouTube. at Look in the Mirror, the conversation, also on Instagram as well, and of course on Facebook as well. So definitely go check us out. You know, share, like, you know, just get the information out there. Leslie, we're trying to have these real conversations, you know, and get down to some solutions and break down these roots and these, you know, systemic issues that exist that, you know, have kind of got us in the place that we're in. So once again, fellas, Ruben, appreciate you joining the show, brother. Isaiah, we appreciate you joining. Yeah, we appreciate you joining the show, Isaiah. We appreciate the story, man. Let's say that brought a great context and some great points to feed off of. So I said, once again, you guys are welcome at any time. And just to close out, this is Look in the Mirror, the conversation, and everybody have a blessed night.
Thank you guys for coming out. We love you. Great show, Quace, man.